Okay, so what we're gonna do. Okay, so this is a little porting tip. This one actually just broke, but this one lasted me probably 5 or 6 chainsaws. This is the original one that I made, but I figured I'd show you how to make a new one. It's real simple. I use this cotter pin inside this 90-degree tool because it's got a nice round center in there. You just loosen it up and you can stick it in after you clamp your piece of Scotch-Brite or sandpaper. I'm just using a belt sander belt. That's what I'm using. It's a little bit more rigid, lasts a little bit longer. So you get your new cotter pin. These are just from Harbor Freight in their little kit. Find the size that fits what you need. Then you're going to crush it in the vise here, just like that. And then I crush it again to keep it straight. Eventually it'll get crooked, but that's okay. So there we got our thing, our pin here. I'm going to separate it apart, being careful because it is a little bit brittle out here. And this is not what it's made for, but this works pretty good. We'll get our new piece of Scotch-Brite, and actually I went a little too long. This is a smaller exhaust port on this 395 cylinder. So we just throw that in there like that. And then we where's my other cap there? Oops. This one might be, oh, it did come out nice. Just like that. Now before I do that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit this exhaust with something a little finer than 120. Probably go up to 180 or 220 before I hit it with the Scotch-Brite. Just to take that little extra step to give it a little bit more. Ooh, what's that? That definitely is not 400. So I just bought an assortment of belt sander belts. This one's 180. I was on with 120. What's that one? Ooh, that one's fine. What? That feels like 120. Let's go with that says 320. I don't know why it's saying 120 on there. And it says 400. We'll hit her with this 180. That should be a good enough of a step. So I'm gonna cut it on the seam. Cut out kind of the width that I want. Probably better now. Two. We'll see how well this one holds. Hopefully she's got enough power to pull this, ooh, well, a little bit too. She's got to be able to get that tool in there. Oh shit. But I have no real complaints on this tool. Only reason I bought this one is so that I can get in there with more of an angle. Since it's got a little bit smaller body, a little bit thinner head here, you can get in at more of an angle when you're doing the transfers. I feel that it's not necessary to buy the other tool unless you're doing quads. All right, let's hit it with this. Might have a little too much on there, we'll see. Yeah, so we'll cut it down a little bit. Probably cut it down this way too. See if she'll spin like that. I need to figure out something better than this, but this is all I got right now. See how that Scotch-Brite stays on there nice? That's why I like doing it that way. I'm not really concerned about the floor of this exhaust port since I cut so much off the cylinder base. That cylinder sits so much lower, so the bottom of the piston is still above the exhaust port floor. So there's really not a lot of flow down here. I hit it somewhat, but not, doesn't have to be perfect because that's not where the carbon would stick to. I'm gonna put a little WD on here. This kind of makes a mess. But we're gonna do a flow check and wash after this anyways, so. Smells good. And to me, that is good enough. That's really all that you need. You just want it, you just want it to feel smooth with your finger, in my opinion. I mean, you could go crazy and use something like this. I've done that before, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. That's just an extra step, you know, with like a polishing compound. You got plenty of time to mess with it, then go ahead, but this is good enough for what I'm doing. So that's the polished exhaust port. I didn't widen the exhaust width much on this one, but don't really need to. I didn't want to modify the muffler, and I feel like this is enough flow for this style saw. So yeah, so that's how I do a little polishing. Thanks for watching.